Are you sick being ripped off by these big oil change places, paying $70, $80, even $100 for an oil change that you have to do every 5,000 miles? Aren't you ready to do it for yourself, save some money? Today, I'm going to show you how to change the oil on your 2013, 2018 Lexus ES 350 and Toyota Avalon. So stay tuned for more.
For these cars, you need to change the oil every 5,000 miles, but for me, I change it every 4,000 because my car is closer to 130,000 miles, which isn't much for these, but it is getting older, and I just want to take care of it.
The most essential part of your oil change are these three, or I should say four things right here. First off, you have your oil filter. You can go buy these at Walmart. This one right here is a M1C 251A oil filter. The oil capacity of the 2G RFE, the engine we're working on, is 6.4 quarts. Each of these things is 5 quarts. So you're gonna need one, then some. So about 1.4 out of the next one. And after a couple oil changes, you'll have enough oil left over, so you don't even have to buy oil for that change, just a filter. I must emphasize that these are essential to your oil change. You cannot get the filter out with one of these tools right here. This is an oil filter socket. You stick it onto your ratchet and it removes the casing the socket's in. I bought this one at AutoZone a year or two back. They sell them everywhere. They sell them at every auto parts store. They're real cheap and they work on every Toyota, from the Tundras, this thing, to like the little Scions. It's on every Toyota. It's important to have one of these for not just this car, but any other Toyota you have. So make sure you have one of these. Another part you definitely need right here is this drain container. So you stick this under your car, you pull the plug, and all the oil drains into here and fills up. This one is 16.4 quarts, so make sure it doesn't overfill. If you don't have a ratchet already, go and just get yourself a cheap set from Harbor Freight or Amazon or wherever you want to. Ratchets and sockets are very important for just doing anything on your own, and I think everyone should just have a set. But for the drain plug, for pulling the plug that drains the oil, you need a 14mm socket. So do this the right way and get a socket instead of like getting some pliers and like ripping the thing off. Just do it right. It's not too expensive, but it's important. Do not, I repeat, don't even attempt to change your oil if you do not have some jack stands. These will save your life. Do not be an idiot. Do not put blocks under there. Do not put pieces of wood. Do it right. Go to Home Depot. Go to Harbor Freight, I guess. Go on Amazon. Buy yourself some 2-ton jack stands. These are very important for your safety under your car. I would not go under my car without these things. So what I got right here is a floor jack. These things make the job a lot easier. You can get one at Home Depot for $70, $80, like a 2-ton like this one. It's just nice to have. But if you don't have that type of money with you, and you don't want to buy one of these, you can just use the little jack in the back of your car and crank that thing up. It's fine. I highly recommend one of these. Oil, it's messy, and you're gonna have a mess to clean up, or at least avoid one. You can avoid it by getting a mat like this that you roll out and stick into your car when you're draining your oil. It really helps. Also, if you don't want to buy a mat like this, you can just use some cardboard from your Amazon boxes or something. Along with this is some paper towels to wipe your hands, wipe your tools, wipe your dipstick. It's nice to have. You need to have this. You don't want to smell like oil. Get oil on your phone, on your clothes, so be careful. What I got right here is a funnel for pouring the new oil into the engine. This funnel, it looks dirty, it looks scuffed, because yeah, it's old. But I wiped it out with some rubbing alcohol and washed it in the sink. It's important that you don't get any little contaminants in your engine, any dirt, grime, stuff like that. So just make sure you keep your stuff clean. Step 1, changing your oil, is getting your car off the ground. Right now, I got my jack stand. I'm gonna go jack up my car here in a second. But if you don't have one of these, just make sure that you get your little crank up jack from the back and stick it in the right spot. Okay, now that our car is all nice and jacked up in the right spot, it's in the perfect height, we're gonna put the jack stands on so we don't get crushed, Jeff, all right?
So find your jack points, which are these right here under the car. I'm gonna zoom out so you know where. So you go to this jack stand spot and stick it under there. Now that it's out, it won't move. Don't forget to do this to the other side too. Now that you got both sides nice and jacked up, jack stands in the right spot, it's time to release the floor jack. Which all you have to do is just turn it slowly. Just like that. So what you're gonna do next here is get this oil mat and also get your oil catch here and stick it in the proper spot under the car. When you're under here and you got your you got your oil catch here, make sure you pull the drain plug out. See that red plug right there? I pulled it out of the hole in there. You need to do that, otherwise you're gonna have a huge mess of all the oil going everywhere. So just make sure you do that before we start. You see here, this is the drain plug. It's part of the oil pan, which is this thing right here. The oil is gonna drain out, so just make sure you have your catch in the right spot here. Line it up in the best way you can. Before we start here, before we drain our oil, don't get too excited. Because first off, you need to make sure your cap is off here. And you also make sure your dipstick is out to make sure you have maximum flow of the oil draining out. It is a little tight in here, so pardon my bad angles. I just broke loose the drain plug. So we're gonna be very careful. You are gonna get a little oil on your hands, so just bear in mind. I'm gonna unscrew it. Well, having a little force on here. So hang on. Just keep your finger on there so it didn't fall out. It's about done. So I'm gonna pull out like that. Boom. Not too much oil. Yeah, it's my best one. But anyway, just watch as you see the oil is gonna fill up in this catch here. It's gonna take a couple minutes. So just wait until it's almost just completely done draining. It's just like stringing out. Be very careful that you don't ruin any nice shirts or shorts or shoes, you name it, because it can easily happen. When you're doing this job, don't wear anything nice. It's gonna get ruined. Those stains are never gonna come off. So just be careful. No nice clothes while doing this oil. So right now, oil's almost done here. It's just dripping. So I'm gonna start in my filter. I'm gonna move it in place just a little more. The oil catch here. Because this is pretty messy, the filter coming out. There's some oil in here too. So I have that tool I mentioned earlier, and I'm gonna take this thing off. And oh man. Yeah, be careful, this is a little messy. And there we go. Just shake this out, make sure you don't get oil anywhere else. So here, I have my new ring and I have my new filter. And I'm just gonna pour a little oil, maybe about halfway in there, just to kind of prime it up a bit. And it's gonna be ready to go back in the car. Here I am, tightening the filter back. I wanna make sure it's nice and tight, but not too tight to where I can't get it out next time. All right, now I got the drain plug back in, I hand tightened it, and I'm gonna get it all the way tight. Just like that. Not too tight. All right, it's time to pull this thing out. It's getting pretty full. Now that I got the catch out here, it is pretty oily, so make sure to wipe it down. Also, make sure you screw that back in and push that back in right here. I'm jacking the car up more so I can get the jack stands out from underneath. I'm gonna go over here, and all you need to do to release them is perfect, just like that. The other side, move them out. Make sure you move them out of the way. Now, I'm gonna release the car onto the ground, slowly. It's not too bad. I need to work on that. It's finally time to pour the oil. So I'm gonna push the dipstick back in here. Now I'm gonna put this funnel right here. First off, I'm gonna put in this whole 5 quarts of oil. Now that we're done with the oil, make sure you wipe up the area in case you spilled a bit. And screw on your cap. All right, so we're gonna fire it up for a minute, let it run, and check the oil. So I just took the dipstick out, wiped it off, stuck it back in. Let's see where we're at. It's really hard to see with this full synthetic, but it looks good. It's a little higher than usual, but looks just fine. Car runs good. So right now, since it's time to change your oil, you probably have a service light or like a change oil light going on. Here's how you get rid of it. First, you're gonna turn your car on. Go to odometer, the trip reset. Put it on trip A. Now turn your car off. Now, since my hands are full and I really can't record this, here's what you're gonna do. While holding down on your odometer reset button here, this one right here, you're gonna take your foot off the brake and press the start-stop button 2 times while holding this odometer button. Then it will take you to a screen. It'll say right here, resetting maintenance data. And then you take your finger off the buttons, it resets, but turn your trip thing off, and you're good to go. So I just drove around a bit and car drives like usual, so all good. It went fine. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. And if you got comments on how I did this, if you think I'm wrong, if there's something I should do different, comment, so let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching.